Now at 9, how the Joplin community came together in support of a young boy's return home after being put on hospice. Plus, the Life Church of Carthage honors local veterans with a Veterans Day service. And the Miami Elks Lodge holds a benefit and auction in support of a woman that was diagnosed with cancer.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. This is your KOAM News at 9. I'm Jalen Banks. Due to a water line break, the City of Commerce will be shutting down their water tower at 10 p.m. for repairs. The city says updates will be posted on their Facebook page and by text throughout the night. Local bikers in the Four Seat area gather for rides with meaning. Warrior Watch riders are planning to hold a 12-year-old boy in hospice by driving past his home. The bikers want to give back to the community and show their support.
We hope we impact them a lot and let them know that bikers have a bad name, but we're hoping this shows that we care. We are not here to be rowdy, loud. We're a caring group or a Christian group. We pray with each other.
Warrior Watch riders also honor veterans and first responders as well. Racing for Cash today hosted a racing exhibition event with big prizes up for grabs. The barrel racing event began yesterday and wrapped up today. The event included exhibition racing as well as novice rider racing.
Just growing up around horses, I've ridden since I was, 2 years old, and I really got into barrel racing when I was younger. And just being able to work with other barrel racers and bring a good quality barrel race is something that we try to do. The inspiration comes from being able to be with your fellow barrel racers and being able to be with them and just have a great time together.
Officials collected $5 from each rider and added an additional $500. That is up for grabs from the fastest racer. All right, and now we move on to weather. Doug, what do you have for us?
Well, it actually turned out to be a decent Sunday for us today. Of course, chilly. We've been cold since Friday when our cold front rolled through, but 46 was our high. We started at 19, so it was a chilly start during the morning hours. The average high is 59 degrees for this time of the year. And look at our temps. We got southeasterly winds. Most of us are sitting into the mid-30s right now. We're going to drop off again during the overnight hours for us tonight, but pretty much clear skies. A few mid and upper level clouds kind of streaming through, but here is the beginnings of our next storm system, and this system will start to affect us by the second half of the day tomorrow. Until then, we're okay. 33 by 11, 27 by 7, so overnight low of 25. Clouds will start to increase, rain and snow chances. We'll talk about that here in just a bit.
Life Church in Carthage took today to honor local veterans. The way they honored them during the service and after was through song and prayer.
So my part is I'm the music director here, and so the music is my favorite part, as well as I have multiple family members that have served, are continuing to serve, and that died on the grounds as well. And so it's super important. The best part is just the camaraderie that we have here at Life Church, the love that we have for God and for country and for our veterans.
Life Church is located at 2965 South Chapel Road in Carthage. Earlier today, one Oklahoma community came together to support one of their own. Melissa Rower was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer earlier this year. Friends and neighbors gathered at the Miami Elks Lodge to host an auction with all proceeds going toward helping Rower with payments towards her treatment. Items for the auction were all donated by the community and included a guided fishing trip, concert tickets, and homemade wreaths.
Just the whole thing is special to me. I want to be able to help Melissa. I want to be able to show her that our community can really rally around her, and just to show everyone else that whenever times count, when times are important, that this community can step up and that we can show them that we're here for them.
For more area events such as this one, you can find them on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. President Biden is on the next leg of his overseas trip, arriving today in Bali, Indonesia, ahead of today's G20 summit. He's set to meet tomorrow with Chinese President Xi Jinping. It will be the first face-to-face talk since Biden took office. Fox News White House correspondent Jackie Heinrich is in Bali with the latest.
At the last of 4 summits over his 7-day tour, President Biden will meet with G20 leaders seeking to stabilize the global economy amid Russia's war in Ukraine, increase pressure on Vladimir Putin, who will not attend, and empower democracy over autocracy, emboldened by his party's successes in the midterms.
Well, I'll tell you what, congratulations to Senator Schumer. He's got a majority again, and we're focusing now on Georgia. We feel good about where we are. And I know I'm a cockeyed optimist. I understand that in the beginning, but I'm not surprised by the turnout. I'm incredibly pleased by the turnout. And I think it's a reflection of the quality of our candidates.
Biden touched down in Indonesia a few hours ago ahead of a pivotal meeting with the country's greatest economic and military rival. His first face-to-face meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping billed as the keynote event of this trip. The White House is setting low expectations, striking out deliverables and framing goals around managing a contentious relationship after Xi tightened his grip on power with an unprecedented third term, and Biden again stated a few months ago that U.S. troops would intervene if China invaded Taiwan, which the White House once again walked back, insisting there was no change in longstanding U.S. policy.
Say if you will tell Xi Jinping personally that you are committed to defending Taiwan.
I'm going to have that conversation with him.
In Cambodia, Biden called out Beijing's grab for regional dominance without naming names, offering a full-throated commitment to Southeast Asian nations. He closed the summit with sideline meetings with the Japanese and South Korean leaders to discuss North Korea's growing threats following months of ramped-up displays of force, one ICBM missile 10 days ago prompting evacuation alerts in northern Japan. Biden plans to push Chinese President Xi Jinping to wield his influence over Pyongyang in what Biden will frame as a mutual interest. Another leader we're watching for here in Bali, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. He will attend, but the president is not slated to meet with him. In Bali, Indonesia, Jackie Heinrich, Fox News.
We now take this time to honor tonight's 4-State hero. Paul Bryant, a Grove, Oklahoma native, served in the Army during the Vietnam War. Bryant served in the 5th Battalion and the 46th Infantry. To Sergeant Paul Bryant, we thank you, our 4-State hero. Next, how a second COVID infection could be harder to fight. Coronavirus patients who get infected a second time face a significantly higher risk of death. A new study found reinfected patients more than doubled the risk of death and more than tripled risk of hospitalization compared to those who were infected with just COVID once. Researchers say people with the repeat infections were also more than 3 times more likely to develop lung problems, suffer heart conditions, and 60% more likely to experience neurological disorders. The report is published by the medical journal Nature Medicine. The list is growing in regards to states battling a listeria outbreak linked to deli meat and cheeses. Dozens have been sickened and 1 death has been reported. Fox News senior correspondent Laura Engel reports.
The multi-state food poisoning scare has led health officials to warn Americans to use caution while consuming deli meat and cheeses after listeria contamination sickened and hospitalized over a dozen people, caused 1 death and 1 miscarriage. Officials with the Centers for Disease Control say you are at higher risk for severe listeria illness if you are pregnant, 65 or older, or have a weakened immune system due to certain medical treatments or conditions. One reason listeria outbreaks can happen with deli items is because the bacteria can easily spread among food on deli countertops, slicers, and surfaces where deli meats such as cold cuts and hot dogs are handled. The CDC telling those high-risk groups not to eat anything from a deli that isn't, quote, steaming hot. The outbreak has reached 6 states, including New York, where several cases were tied to a deli in Brooklyn. Other cases were reported in Illinois, Massachusetts, California, and New Jersey. And as of Friday, 1 death was reported in Maryland, all since April of last year. Listeria is the 3rd leading cause of death from food poisoning in the United States. According to the CDC, listeria causes illness in 1,600 Americans each year. The CDC says the true number of sick people is probably higher. Not everyone that gets a bad stomach ache reports it. Best advice to avoid Listeria contamination? You've heard it all your life. Wash your hands with soap and water. And due to the outbreak, don't eat deli meat if you are at high risk. In New York, Laura Engel, Fox News.
Doug Kitty joins us with a look at the forecast after the break. And later, the fallout after FTX's bankruptcy.
We're here to help.
Well, it turned out to be a chilly day for us today, but at least we had the sunshine across the region, and it looks like it's going to be pretty calm as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Then we'll start to see some changes once again for us tomorrow. Nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, Indigo, just outside of Seneca, Missouri, right across the state line, but it looks pretty good. Temperatures, it's cold. It's been cold all weekend. We have these southeasterly winds kicking in, and what this is doing is keeping our temperatures kind of into the mid-30s right now. It's not going to be as cold tonight as it was this morning, but still we're going to dip down into the mid-20s for overnight lows, but most of us across the board mid-30s. Let's go outside, 7th and Range Line. We are looking pretty good. As we go into the rest of the overnight hours for us tonight, we're going to drop back through the 30s, 28 by 7, 25 for a low, and then the clouds will start to increase as we go through the morning hours tomorrow. This is going to be ahead of our next storm system, which is going to roll in late in the day. So as of right now, we're pretty quiet. There's not a whole bunch going on, but the clouds will continue to thicken up. But just to our west, here's our developing storm system. So the four corners of the U.S., Colorado, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico. It's a kind of an intense little wave that is going to shoot out into the Central Plains over the next 24 hours or so. And of course, we're cold, so there is going to be some snow, which is going to mix in. So let's go ahead and we'll start tomorrow morning. Here's 7 a.m. Clouds starting to thicken up. We're sitting into the mid-20s. A lot of clouds by noon. We do warm into the low 40s. And then once we get into the afternoon, look at the showers starting to pick up, especially on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. So here's 4:30 p.m. So most of the day is dry. As we go through the evening hours, rain continues to press in. Now look down in Benton County, starts switching over to a little bit of snow. In our western counties, Yates Center, Fredonia, Chanute, Fort Scott, you start switching over to a little bit of snow. Temperatures are hovering above freezing, so not a huge issue on the roadways. As we continue through the evening hours, here's 8 p.m. Still rain, mainly through the metro, but you can see that rain-snow line inching farther east near Pittsburgh, also getting up near Cassville. And then once we get to about 10 or 11 p.m., everybody should go over to a wet snow. But by the time we get there, there's not going to be a whole bunch of moisture left, and then it just kind of rotates through. So I'm not expecting a ton of snow by any means. 28 in the morning, 44 by noon. Rain picks up as we go into the evening hours. Snowfall amounts, I think most of us, a dusting on the grass, maybe a half an inch. But our western counties, a half an inch, maybe upwards to an inch. So not a lot of snow, but it's something we haven't had to deal with for quite some time. 46 tomorrow, rain increasing late, 42 on Tuesday. 38 Wednesday. It's going to be a pretty chilly week. High temps only into the 30s and 40s.
Man, I mean, at this point, we'll just take what we can get.
Yeah, I'm happy to see a few snowflakes. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, thank you, Doug.
Yep.
And coming up, Meta making some pretty big cuts.
When you give.
As Sam Bankman-Fried's FTX enters bankruptcy protection, there's a report. A staggering amount of customer funds have disappeared from the crypto exchange. Reuters is reporting between $1 billion to $2 billion of customer funds are missing. The news agency says two sources say the former CEO secretly transferred $10 million in customer funds from FTX to the digital asset trading house Alameda Research. In text messages to Reuters, Bankman-Fried said he disagreed with the characterization of the transfer. FTX and Alameda did not respond to requests for comment. The parent company of Facebook and Instagram is wielding the axe on employees' perks. Meta is reducing many of its lavish employee perks while facing cost-cutting measures across the company. CEO Mark Zuckerberg said in a memo that the perks would be cut back in the face of 11,000 layoffs. He says the company needs to be leaner and more efficient. Free laundry and dry cleaning has been curbed, and qualified office time for free evening meals has been adjusted by 30 minutes. Zuckerberg accepted layoff blame, saying he misread e-commerce in the post-pandemic era. Meta employs more than 87,000 people. Next, after 25 years, how one trainer finally accomplished his dream.
What is your...
There's a big reveal in the Pokemon world. Ash Ketchum, the animated series protagonist, is now the top trainer after winning the Masters 8 tournament of the Pokemon's World Coronation Series. Ash's victory is featured in the latest episode of Pokemon Ultimate Journeys, the series which has just premiered in Japan. The win comes after numerous battles and quests over 25 years' time, and seen in a major pop culture milestone in Pokemon world. The series is streaming in the US on Netflix, with the new episodes still to come. And that's a look at the first 30 minutes of your KOAM News at 9. More news, weather, and sports after the break. 9:30, how the Joplin community came together in support of a young boy's return home after being put on hospice. Plus, the Life Church of Carthage honors local veterans with the Veterans Day service. And the Miami Elks Lodge holds a benefit and auction in support of a woman that was diagnosed with cancer.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. This is your KOAM News. I'm Jalen Banks. Due to a water line break, the City of Commerce will be shutting down their water tower at 10 p.m. for repairs. The city says updates will be posted on their Facebook page and through text throughout the night. All right. Local bikers in the four-state area gathered for Rides with Meaning. Warrior Watch riders are planning to honor a 12-year-old boy in hospice by driving past his home. The bikers want to give back to the community and show their support.
We hope we impact them a lot and let them know that bikers have a bad name, but we're hoping this shows that we care. We are not here to be rowdy, loud. We're a caring group or a Christian group. We pray with each other.
Warrior Watch riders also honor veterans and first responders. Racing for Cash today hosted a racing exhibition event with big prizes up for grabs. The barrel racing event began yesterday and wrapped up today. The event included exhibition racing and novice rider racing.
Just growing up around horses, I've ridden since I was, 2 years old, and I really got into barrel racing when I was younger. And just being able to work with other barrel racers and bring a good quality barrel race is something that we try to do. The inspiration comes from being able to be with your fellow barrel racers and being able to be with them and just have a great time together.
Officials collected $5 from each rider, and in addition, $500 that is up for grabs from the fastest racer. Well, I'm sure you've all heard of the old saying, a penny for your thoughts. Well, on this Veterans Day, a man from Marionville had some thoughts about honoring those who gave their lives for our country. Joe Hickman explains the reason, and he's using 1,000 pennies.
While the rest of the world was going on with its daily activities, Larry Ludwig was at the Missouri Veterans Cemetery in South Springfield, finishing up a labor of love that started 4 days ago. As every single headstone you see here, over 6,000 in all, has a penny on it, put there by Larry.
What I've done is taken it upon myself to see that every headstone out here in this cemetery is visited by at least one person. I've been out here since Tuesday putting a penny on the headstone, and then when I do so, I render a salute.
Placing coins on grave sites dates back to ancient Greece and became popular in the U.S. during the Vietnam War. A penny means that someone has visited the grave to pay respect. A nickel means they went to boot camp with a deceased soldier, while a dime means they served together, and a quarter means they were present when the military member passed away. And Larry, a 20-year veteran of the Army and Navy who also serves as a chaplain at VFW Post 676, said placing pennies was the best way to honor his fellow vets.
Ever since the Korean conflict and in Vietnam, a lot of the veterans feel that they've been forgotten. These folks out here are not forgotten. This is my first time, and I'm 83 years old. I doubt if I'll do it again, because after a while it gets your arms, it gets you between the shoulder blades, and a little bit of twist that you're not used to.
But Larry wasn't the only one out here giving back. A group of 15 students from the Springfield Public Schools BASE program that teaches job and life skills came out to help clean up and beautify the cemetery.
We always like to give back to our community, so cleaning up was what we felt like was right.
Pretty cold, but honorable to come out here and make it look nice. They basically just risk their lives to save us.
Okay. You too. We owe you one. Be good. Enjoy life.
Larry was certainly appreciative of the group's gesture as the different generations showed their love and respect in a society where too often that's in short supply.
There was a lot of them that said you're a hero, and I'm not. Our heroes are buried here.
Life Church in Carthage today took time to honor local veterans. During their service, they honored the veterans through song and prayer.
So my part is I'm the music director here, and so the music is my favorite part, as well as I have multiple family members that have served, are continuing to serve, and that died on the grounds as well. And so it's super important. The best part is just the camaraderie that we have here at Life Church, the love that we have for God and for country and for our veterans.
Life Church is located at 2965 South Chapel Road in Carthage. Earlier today, one Oklahoma community came together to support one of their own. Melissa Rower was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer earlier this year. Friends and neighbors gathered at the Miami Elks Lodge in Miami, Oklahoma to host an auction with all proceeds going toward helping Rower pay for her treatment. Items from the auction were all donated by the community and included a guided fishing trip, concert tickets, and homemade wreaths.
Just the whole thing is special to me. I want to be able to help Melissa. I want to be able to show her that our community can really rally around her, and just to show everyone else that whenever times count, when times are important, that this community can step up and that we can show them that we're here for them.
For more awesome events such as this one going on in the area, you can find them on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Control of the House still hangs in the balance with some key races too early to call. Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff has the latest from Washington.
Republicans are still 7 seats away from securing a majority. Right now, 211 have been called in favor of the GOP. Democrats have 204. That tipping point, of course, to 18. And there are still 20 races that are undecided, the majority of those out on the West Coast. In Arizona's 1st District, you have Democrat Jevin Hodge. He's less than 1 point ahead of Republican incumbent David Schweikert. That's just about 450 vote difference there. California has the most undetermined races in the state's 13th district. Republican Congressman John Duarte is currently ahead of Democratic challenger Adam Gray by less than 100 votes. Now moving a little bit further south to the 47th district, you have progressive Rep. Katie Porter. She's up about 5,000 votes from Republican challenger Scott Baugh with 72% of the vote in. There's a few reasons why California's count is delayed. This was the first midterm election where all registered voters in the state were sent a mail-in ballot, and those ballots postmarked by Election Day are accepted for up to 7 days following. While Republicans are expected to achieve a majority in the House, it is not by the margins that the GOP had anticipated, had desired. And today, New Hampshire's Republican Governor Chris Sununu weighed in on why he feels that is.
At the end of the day, you can't govern if you don't win. And all that matters is winning in November. And so a lot of these candidates, I think, forgot that. I think they went way too far right in some of their primaries. I think they let the media, they let the other side define them.
There is still a chance that some House races could head to a recount. Congresswoman Lauren Boebert's race in Colorado being one of them. She currently leads by under 900 votes. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
Next, an air show gone wrong. A tragedy in the skies over Dallas, where the FAA confirms 2 planes collided mid-air during an air show yesterday afternoon. Fox News correspondent Christina Coleman has the latest on the story.
This horrific collision happened Saturday afternoon during an air show involving World War II airplanes. Now, we want to warn you, the video you're about to see is graphic. These two historic military planes collided in the air, leading to what appears to be a large explosion on the ground. Witnesses say debris from the crash dropped along the highway. Smoke could be seen billowing in the air for miles. Also, the mayor of Dallas confirmed that there were no reports of any injuries to the air show's spectators or others on the ground. The tragic collision of the two planes, of course, shocked witnesses.
I was stunned, shocked. I can't even tell you what was going through my mind. I just saw the black smoke and just couldn't believe what I was seeing.
The FAA confirmed that a Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress and a Bell P-63 King Cobra collided and crashed at the Wings Over Dallas Air Show at Dallas Executive Airport around 1:20 Saturday afternoon local time. It is unknown how many people were on both planes. Air show guests were expecting to see more than 40 World War II planes during this event. The president and CEO of the organization that put on the air show did not say how many people were on the two planes that collided, though he did confirm in a press conference that the B-17 normally has a crew of 4 to 5 people and the other plane is a single pilot aircraft. He also says the pilots involved in the show are well trained.
All the pilots are vetted very carefully. Many of them have been flying for us for 20, 30 years or longer. So this is not, what I can tell you is this is not their first rodeo. These guys are very well versed. They spend their summer times. Many of them are airline pilots, retired military pilots.
The crash site will likely be a large scene for investigators to cover. Texas Governor Greg Abbott confirmed that the state's Department of Public Safety, Texas Division of Emergency Management, and the Texas Department of Transportation are assisting local officials in responding to this tragedy. We're waiting to hear from law enforcement officials to confirm any details on possible injuries or fatalities in this incident. The NTSB will be on scene to investigate. Christina Coleman, Fox News.
Doug Katie returns with another look at the forecast after the break.
Well, we got sunshine outside for us today, but it was chilly. High temps only into lower 40s during the afternoon, and it's going to be a cold night tonight as we drop back mid-20s for overnight lows. Right now, we have pretty much clear skies. Nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo just outside of Seneca, Missouri. But look at the mid-30s across the region. We have a light southeasterly wind, and again, we're going to be dropping back as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. Here's 7th and Rangeline. You can see the roads are dry. It looks pretty good at this point in time. As we go into the morning hours, temps, they're going to be down there, mid-20s, drop to 28 by 7, 38 by 10, but you can see the clouds will start to increase as we go through the morning hours ahead of our next storm system, which is going to roll in late in the day tomorrow. As of right now, we look okay. We have some we have some upper level clouds, which are streaming through. Besides that, not a whole bunch going on. Here's our storm system just out to the west, right across the 4 corners of the U.S. That is Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado. An intense little wave that is going to kind of blossom as it passes by as we go through the next 24 to 36 hours. So let's go ahead and break it down. For you tonight, we're fine. We're going to get some clouds increasing late. Here's 7 a.m. It's a cold start. Clouds thicken through the morning. We warm into lower 40s. Here's the noon hour. As we go into the afternoon hours, we're going to stop at 4:30. We're still sitting lower 40s, but you can see some light showers starting to pick up, especially in Kansas and Oklahoma. Where you see this blue out toward Parsons, Chanute, Fredonia, Coffeyville, that is some light snow, which is going to be trying to mix in. As we continue into the evening hours, you can see a little core of rain still kind of through the metro. We're getting some light snow, southeast Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma, and then also kind of filling in down toward Cassville. But where you see this kind of rain-snow mix, that is exactly what it shows. It's a rain-snow mix, so nothing is accumulating. As we continue through the evening hours, then eventually we'll switch over to all light snow. It's just not going to last that long. And look at our temperatures. We're sitting above freezing. So it would have to come down at a really fast clip to accumulate on the roadways. So I'm not concerned about roadways as of tonight. But we may get some light accumulations on the grassy surfaces across the region. All right, so 28 in the morning, 44 by noon, 43 by 5, rain increasing, high temp 46. Snowfall amounts will readjust this tomorrow, but of course right now I'm thinking most of us a dusting to a ½ an inch, just because we're going to get a lot of melting as it comes down. Now, our farther west counties may be in that ½ inch to 1 inch amount, but already talking about snow, middle of November. 46 tomorrow, 42 Tuesday, high of only 38 Wednesday.
Yeah, with winter approaching and Thanksgiving and stuff, this is like the perfect weather.
There you go.
Absolutely. All right, thank you, Doug. And coming up in sports, the Chiefs face the Jaguars in Week 9. Plus, Pitt State hosts a watch party for the reveal of the Division II playoff bracket. Hear from the team next.
We break down the difference. The Pitt State football team gathered with the community today at John Lance Arena for the Division II football selection show. The Gorillas are one of 28 teams to make the playoffs this year. Pitt State is the 3 seed in the Super Region 3. The Gorillas' perfect 11-0 record earns them a home game in the first round. They will host the 9-1 University of Indianapolis Greyhounds on Saturday at 1 p.m.
Everybody's locked in and they know their role, and that's really important for this team, is knowing your role. And we got Pittsburgh back where it needs to be.
I told them today that they already have the blueprint of how to go through all this. How they've handled this regular season has been very impressive, and taken on the 1-0 mentality, and that's what this is going to require.
Missouri Southern fell to Washburn 37-20 on Saturday and finished the season with a 4-7 record. The Lions honored 12 seniors who suited up in the green and gold for the final time. That includes linebacker Richard Jordan Jr. This year he recorded his 3rd season with 100 tackles. He finishes with 381 career tackles, 3rd most in Missouri Southern history.
He really just shows guys how to work. I mean, that's that group in general. Him, Booker, Joakim Crawford. I mean, those guys, if you would see how hard they work, it's unbelievable. And that's what that crew has done. It's just really, this is how you go about your business day in, day out, and that's how we've been able to climb up and get better.
The Kansas City Chiefs are 6-2 this season. They're at home today, aiming for their 3rd straight win. Kansas City hosts Jacksonville this afternoon. First quarter, Patrick Mahomes finds a wide-open Kadarius Toney. He manages to keep his balance and literally hops into the end zone. That's his first career touchdown. Later, Mahomes on the move connects with Marquez Valdez-Scantling from 18 yards out. Chiefs lead 14-0. Right before half, they add some more, sticking with the passing game. Mahomes hits Noah Gray in the corner of the end zone. But with 11 seconds left, Trevor Lawrence fires to Christian Kirk. Jags get on the board. It's 20-7 at the break. Later, Chiefs keep rolling. Mahomes to Travis Kelce. He backs in for the score. Mahomes throws for 331 yards and 4 touchdowns. Chiefs win 27-17.
That's another great defensive line we faced today with first-round draft picks, guys that are big, fast, physical, and they did a great job running and pass protecting. So I think as the season goes on, offensive lines, especially with the rules in training camp, they get better and better, at least the really good ones do. And I think you see in our offensive line as the season goes on become that elite group that we all expected.
The Pitt State men are in Kansas City this weekend competing in the Central Region Tip-Off Challenge. The Gorillas lost their season opener on Friday, 60-50 to Winona State. They're back on the floor this afternoon, aiming for their first win. And they get it. Pittsburgh State beats Sioux Falls 82-74. Quentin Hardrick leads the way with 23 points. He goes 4 for 4 from 3 today. Deshaun English posts a double-double, 15 points and 11 rebounds. That's a look at sports. We'll be right back.
Pitt State has a home playoff game next weekend, and it looks like we're going to have some chilly temps. So for those of you that are going to the game, make sure you bundle up. And that's our time for now. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you here next time. Thank you for making us part of your night.
live closed captioning on